Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. It is Sunday, and I normally do a Sunday chat video, a catch-up of all the things that have happened during the week that I haven't had a chance to talk about and things like that. Except I normally do it on Sunday morning, normally because half the family are at church and that makes it easy for me to do stuff. But Darryl has been away since Wednesday. He's not back until tomorrow night. It is Sunday today, isn't it? It is Sunday today. And I came down with a cold just before I left, which is still hanging around a little bit. And then Kavik came down with the cold. He had about 48 hours of headaches and sore throats and things like that. And the twins are currently going through it as well at the moment. Mum was supposed to come for the weekend to sort of help out, give me a bit of a break, company, as people have saying in the comments, sort of body double for me so that I could get some stuff done with her help and stuff like that. Except that she wasn't feeling well on Friday either, and it's too far to come if it's not a long weekend, and she has to work, so she works full time. So she doesn't work Friday, she works Monday to Thursday. She does like 10-hour days, 4 days a week sort of thing. So she didn't come, so I've been stuck here on my own, sick kids, sick myself, and yeah. So I didn't film anything yesterday. I did a bunch of wood cutting, so I used the chainsaw, the Ryobi chainsaw. So I mentioned on Facebook, so in case for people who don't follow me on Facebook, we invested in a Ryobi 36 volt chainsaw. We have a lot of Ryobi tools, impact drivers, drills, sanders, rotary saws, all sorts of things. But we did have a small version of their chainsaw many years ago, and it was crappy. It did next to nothing. Cut a few sticks. It just was pointless. So we've gone through a bunch of petrol ones over the years, and we've found that we tend to buy the balm, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, ones, which work quite well, but only for a couple of seasons, no matter how much we upkeep them, but they're inexpensive. And because we only use a chainsaw sort of 3 months of a year, it's hard for us to keep them maintained because we just don't have the storage to store them for the other 9 months of the year. So being battery operated, then that should solve a lot of problems. It also means that we can use it in the off parts of the year, especially if we get the wood cook stove going and everything, with a lot less effort. So we invested in that recently. I think it was $700 or something, including the 36 volt battery. And one battery allows me to do enough wood for a few days at a time, 3-4 days at a time, if you do it thoughtfully when you're cutting wood. We do a combination of hard redwoods as well as more white pine, softwoods, and then the kids collect kindling from all the trees. So I down dead trees, or Darryl downs dead trees, whoever's doing it, and then all the branches that come off the top, the kids collect, and we use them as kindling and stuff. So we've got enough dead trees on our property to do us firewood forever, pretty much. So what we do is where the kids create paths to drive the little tractor or bike riding paths or stuff, we use those paths and widen them and cut the dead trees around those for them. So that's how we do it. Anyway, so I've had to cut wood a couple of times while he was gone. I did a bunch yesterday. We've got plenty for tonight, tomorrow. So we spent yesterday doing that. And just having a really slow day because everyone just wasn't feeling real great. Doing dishes, I had to do we had a lot of pots and everything dirty from all the canning that I did the day before, so all that sort of stuff. And then today we've done some bits and pieces of rearranging and organising and things like that, but with the twins not feeling real well now too, it's been slow. It has been really slow, and it's kind of frustrating because I had plans of all the things that I wanted to get done this weekend while Darryl was gone, but it was sort of with Mum's help was the idea, and Mum not being here. So anyway, today is the last day of the 10 ThermoMix sales that would get me a 10k bonus, and I managed to get my 10th sale 3 days ago, I think. So I'm very excited about that, and thank you just so much to everyone who bought within that 5-week period. The commissions that I earned from those sales, because I did 7 last month or something, so I've already been paid the commissions for last month, were what paid for the wood stove, the new little potbelly, and the new freezer. We had to get our water trailer repaired. I don't know if I mentioned that. We have a small galvanized water trailer. It's what we put the IBC on to cart water, and that's all we use it for. It's got no sides or anything. It's an ex-council trailer, so it's one of those steel ones that they would have transported a mower on or signage or whatever like that. And we got it fairly inexpensively when we bought it. I think it was many years ago now, and I think it was $800, which is pretty cheap for, it's a 1.5 ton trailer, because that's what you need for carting water, because water is over a ton, and it's got brakes on it, inertia brakes on it and things like that. So we bought it quite a few years ago, and we've been having some trouble with it. The back axle was playing up. Darryl packed it with grease and all sorts of things, but it was making a weird noise and we couldn't figure out what it was. Anyway, he drove it the week before he left, and the axle locked up. It shredded the tire and was on the wheel hub, sparking everywhere, and in the end he had to leave it on the side of the road overnight because we had no way of doing anything with it. We now have a number for someone we could have used to help with that, which is great because we were very lucky and the trailer was still there the next morning. Anyway, we had to get that fixed, and when we were getting the axle fixed and the hub and all the rest of it, we got a few extra bits and pieces done that really needed to be done on it. The brakes needed fixing because they were damaged, which was part of the problems with the trailer, and there was some wiring issues. Anyway, it ended up costing us $1,000. So yes, the commissions have covered the cost of the trailer repairs, the potbelly stove, the new freezer, and there was something else. I can't remember what now, but basically it covered those, maybe just those three, whatever it was. It covered some of those really big purchases that I had to make over the last few weeks. Didn't have to make. The potbelly and the freezer were a choice of what to spend the money on, but I am very, very grateful to everyone who purchased within that span of time, because not only did you help fund those, but you also helped me get that 10K bonus. The 10K bonus, we haven't exactly, we're going to put a bunch of it into the savings account because that's down to next to nothing at the moment because we've just had too much coming out. But the rest of it is hopefully to go towards fixing this roof, the kitchen roof, and to purchasing the extra roofing that we need for the patio. We also are looking to upgrade our toilet. We have a composting toilet, but we'd like one with the huge chambers for underneath the building. But to do that, we actually have to build another room on, because the problem at the moment is that we have to have a self-contained composting toilet because the floor does not have enough clearance for the giant chamber ones for underneath. So to upgrade to one of those big chamber ones, we need to have a clearance of between 550 and 900 mils, depending on the brand of toilet that we want to go. So like a Green Loo or an Actura or a whichever one. There's a few different brands. We have to make the decision at the time based on how much clearance we can get and how many chambers we want, because each different toilet has different sized chambers that cater for different amounts of people, and you just have to change them more often the more people you have. But you have to own enough of those chambers to be able to remove them and let them compost before you empty them and put them back. So I haven't completely decided which brand I want to go with. It will depend on how we build that room and that sort of thing. So that's partly what this is going to go towards as well. A child interrupted. I have no idea where I was. So anyway, composting toilet, I think I was mentioning. So, and then the roof, and that's where the 10K is going to go towards. Hopefully, that's the plan anyway. So I know I've said it, but thank you to anyone who purchased during that time. I'm really excited for you to have a Thermomix, because I think everyone deserves a Thermomix because they're amazing. But I am grateful for you guys thinking of me when you purchased, and assigning that sale to me so that I could earn that commission and that bonus. In regards to the bake with me aspect that I normally do on a Sunday, we're doing dinner. And I'm going really simple. We've had some really simple meals. On Friday, I showed you the steak and veggies, smashed potatoes, steak and veggies, super simple. Last night we had bolognese, previously cooked bolognese that was in the freezer, heated up, and some store-bought frozen ravioli with it for dinner. I cooked flatbreads for lunch today. Sonnet made a pancake bake for breakfast. And tonight, so dinner tonight, I pulled all that out of that bulk meat order. We had some of that steak, and so far that's all we've had out of the meat order, because Darryl's not here. It just hasn't been a priority. But I did pull chicken out. So I pulled tenderloins, the drumettes, which look like wing drumettes too, not full legs, pros and cons to that. And the wings, neither of those are completely defrosted, and they're a lot easier to handle when they're defrosted. So I've left them in the bag in the freezer, but these tenderloins are defrosted. So I'm going to cook some rice. I've just got white rice with water up to the knuckle over it. I'm going to just boil this and do absorption method. I just bring it up to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer for 15 minutes, and then it's done. And I'm going to grill some broccoli because we've still got broccoli. I think I've got some zucchini too, and I'm going to do these tenderloins. Now I haven't, because it's so late, I haven't done any sort of marinade or anything like that. I'm not going to do that, but I do have a lemon chung. So the lemon chung is looking extremely nice, so pretty. There is still a little bit of crystallization of sugar in the bottom of them, but I'm not concerned about it. And so I'm going to fry the chicken. I'm going to do my potato starch fry up with the lemon chung. Now I don't normally use tenderloins for this either, because normally I would use thigh cut up into pieces, but I didn't get any thigh with this order, and I've got some in the freezer, but I haven't pulled it out because it's been long weekend without anyone else here and everyone being sick and everything else. So I'm going to potato starch these. So let me get this rice on, and then I'll bring it back and I'll think of anything else that we need to go over. Now we go super simple with this. I'm going to put a good scoop of, this is a mixed garlic ginger paste, and then a splash of soy sauce, just like that. And we're just going to let that coat those pieces. We're not really marinating, we're just adding some flavor to the chicken and some moisture, like that. Now I strained my oil and then added some fresh stuff to it, so it's half strained oil, half fresh. I tend to do that until the oil is unusable. I don't do a whole lot of fried stuff, but it's still expensive to use that kind of, like, to use oil in a frying kind of way. And then I just have potato starch. So all I need to do is put a couple of cups of potato starch, splashing it everywhere, in here. And then we're just going to add a generous amount of salt and some pepper, though my pepper grinder is not there and my pepper jar is empty. Forgo the pepper because honestly it's adding too much complications right at the moment. Hang on, there it is there. I'm blind. So we're just going to grind some pepper into the flour, and then I'm just going to whisk that up into the starch, and that's it. That's all we do. We dip this chicken with that little bit of garlic, ginger and soy straight into the salt and pepper potato starch mix, and then we fry it. All right, so I'm going to put this garlic and ginger back in the fridge and grab a container of broccoli while the oil's heating up. All right, so we've got broccoli. This is the broccoli that I bought at the last shopping trip. So we're talking 3 weeks old now, almost 4 weeks old, and it's still perfectly edible because of the effort of putting it into these veggie containers that are well worth the time and money to do. So all I'm going to do is cut it up into pieces, and we'll grill this off in the cast iron pan to have with the rice and the chicken. Some of the kids don't like the lemon sauce, and that's fine. They can have something else. But everyone likes the fried chicken regardless, so we will do that. All right, so the broccoli's all cut up, ready to go. I won't start cooking that yet because we like it to be al dente. We don't like it to be too soft. And I've got the starch mix and the chicken. I'm just waiting on the oil to get hot enough. Rice is still cooking. and that will be it. So nice and simple. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I was supposed to do the egg yolks in the dehydrator today, and it was really overcast and threatening rain all day, so I didn't, which was part of why I didn't film this morning too. Hopefully tomorrow morning or Tuesday morning I will get that done. And other than that, I don't think I've got a huge amount of else going in progress. I've still got to make my everything bagel seasoning and those instant soup mixes and a new batch of instant porridge, and the cowboy candy and Worcestershire sauce. So there's plenty of things on the table that need to be done this week. It's school holidays at the moment, but I am going to be spending some time trying to catch up on anything that the kids missed because we came in halfway through last term, and setting up for next term. But it is school holidays, which makes it a little bit easier for me. I know a lot of parents find school holidays more difficult because the kids are suddenly around, but my kids are always around, and now I just don't have to supervise schoolwork. So benefits for me. And considering we don't normally do school holidays, so when we did our style of schooling, there was no school holidays. We just schooled all year round, except for like a month over Christmas or whatever. So by having school holidays, some sort of benefits me. So there is a few tasks on the cards before I do the next shopping trip. So the next shopping trip will be in like 3 weeks. We also have I have a lovely viewer who bought a Thermomix from me a while back, and we've had some phone conversations over the time since she bought the Thermomix and things like that. So we've chatted a bit, who contacted me and said that she's upgrading her car, and the old car that she has doesn't have anywhere to go. None of her kids wanted it or anything like that. And so she offered it to us. We have to transport it from South Australia and do what needs to be done. I'll roadworthies and regos and all the rest of it. But that was just, it's one of those unfathomable things that someone who, I've spoken to her and all the rest of it, but someone who watches this channel thought of me when they had a vehicle that nobody in their direct family and that wanted. So that will be absolutely amazing. And Andrea is organising for that to be transported. So once that's all locked in and done, then we pay for the transport, and it will go to Uncle Jeff's, because going to a depot means that I only have 48 hours to collect it. Bringing it out here kicks the price up by many hundreds of dollars. So it'll go into my aunt and uncle's place, and then I have to pick it up. But I'm not entirely sure how I'm collecting it yet, because obviously I can't drive down there to drive it back. But driving down there at a grocery trip won't work either, because I won't be able to fit the groceries into the vehicle. It's a Nissan X-Trail, so it's a station wagon type vehicle, but it's not enough for groceries without the trailer. Like I can manage with the ute without the trailer, but I couldn't manage with this without the trailer. So I'm not entirely sure how it's all going to work yet, but that's got to happen at some point in the next few weeks as well. So that might alter my shopping pattern a little bit. We'll see how we go. But anyway, amazing, unfathomable, just I can't even, cannot say in words how it made me feel to have someone offer that. And I was going to say no, because it felt far too large, but I think that the only reason I would have said no was because of pride, and that would have been silly. The Ranger is not healthy, and a lot of our problems with it is that we just don't have the time to get it fixed, because to get it fixed, we have nothing else to use. Nothing to cut water, nothing to drive, nothing, it's very difficult to not have it. And it has an injector that is broken in the in the car that needs to be removed, and by removing it they're going to do more damage, which means it could be an extended period of time for it to be fixed. The transmission is making a really weird clunking sound going into second gear that we cannot figure out what it is. Again, it all needs to be investigated, but to be investigated takes time. And so we keep on putting it off because we don't have the time, but at some point it's going to make the decision for us. So having a second vehicle will just help in so many ways, but also it's a safety thing too, because when we had to evacuate for the bushfires, we all had to fit into a 5-seater car, and now we will have 2 vehicles to be able to do that with. So anyway, so that's got to happen sometime in the next few weeks as well. I will share as it does. And again, it's just a completely unfathomable. Other updates. So the other thing, I mentioned that I was going to try and sit down and do a bit of a podcast type thing to do and use the 7 years off grid as the first one of those. I haven't had a chance with Darryl not being here. It's something that I'm going to need to go and sit somewhere for like an hour and a half to like really get done and not be interrupted and have some notes, and I haven't managed it yet. We also still haven't got all the IKEA furniture put together for that back room, so we're still working on that, and more space for the kittens and stuff too. So there's a lot of things that are just in flux at the moment, with updates that I can't really give you, sort of thing, but I will as I get them, as I complete them, as we get there. You're not on a great angle there, but we'll make it work. With the chicken, all I'm going to do, so I've got this chicken here with that little bit of garlic and ginger and soy, and all I'm doing is putting it in the potato starch mix and getting it coated and shaking off most of it like that, and then placing it in the oil. That's it. Really, really simple, not having to worry about egg washes and stuff like I would if I was making my like faux KFC or whatever, which I might do with a packet of these tenders too, because it is awfully tasty. But yeah, I just wanted super, super simple tonight, and this will give us leftovers for wraps or something tomorrow, which will be nice and save me having to think about lunch tomorrow. So yes, I'm going to get this cooked off. And while I have a quick think if there was anything else that I needed to cover in my updates. But yeah, I'm going to get this going. So yeah, I don't know. Cooking the chicken. The chicken looks amazing. Let me get a piece to show you. Just really nice, crunchy, battered chicken. Not even battered, crumbed, but it's a really lightweight crumb. It's amazing. It keeps the chicken really nice and tender, but it also, it's really worth trying. I had someone in the comments say they tried it after watching me do it and they really liked it. So definitely recommend trying it. I'm sure you can use cornstarch instead of potato starch, but we tend to use potato starch. I can't think of anything else. There was a bunch of stuff that I wanted to get done over this weekend that I didn't. We pulled out all the, because I was cleaning off the shelves with all the pots and pans on it. We pulled out all the Ninja Creamy bowls, freezer things, now that I've got that extra freezer space. And we're going to fill them all. But they didn't get washed in the end because we were so busy washing everything else that came off the shelves. They're still sitting stacked on the bench here waiting to be washed before they can be used. I really wanted to make a batch of granola, but I didn't get there. I wanted to do the bagel seasoning, the instant, nothing has we haven't managed it. Being here on my own and having sickness and stuff, nothing happened that I wanted to happen this weekend. But all the children are still alive, and so we're going to call that good. That is a joke, just to clarify that after getting reamed about my comment about wasting steak on children when I thought everyone had realised that was a joke. Apparently not. The fact that they're all alive it's it's a joke. So far less done than I wanted to get done, but that's a me problem because I'm not very good at not doing things. Which leads into what I was going to say. All this cooking noise probably isn't going to help with the mics, mind you. I'm just getting this broccoli in the pan. And it's just the broccoli with a little bit of ghee and just a lid over the top to help it with steaming before it fries off. The reason I said that was because what I was going to lead into was that one of the things that we're going to work on too, Darryl and I, a little bit here, is balance. So we just finished that really big D&D job that we were doing that was taking up just far too many hours. And so what we've done is we've created a bit of a schedule to allow ourselves a certain amount of hours a week of jobs that we're going to take on to do with D&D out above and beyond everything else that we're doing, so that we're not eating our entire allotment of time doing D&D jobs. We need to make enough money to keep on getting ahead and progressing with the property and things like that. But making money doesn't work if we don't have the time to use the money, because obviously we're not making enough money to hire people in to do stuff, and that's not what we want anyway. I don't really like people coming to the property, but besides that, the whole point is that we get this stuff done together. And so we need to earn enough money to do these projects, but also have enough time to do them as well. And then with the kids' new schooling schedule and everything else, it was a really big sort of 5 or 6 week period that just really, we struggled a little bit. So we're working on balance. So Darryl wants to do his diploma of theology, or whatever the diploma is that he needs to do. I think probably first semester of next year. And so he needs to have enough time to do that. I really want to do more of my artwork and the crafting and things like that, and share it with you guys as well, which I just don't have the time to do at the moment. But I also want to keep doing all the food, because that's what I enjoy doing as well, when it's not a huge stressor, and it's what saves us money on groceries. And I enjoy food, and I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy sharing the content and all the rest of it. So we're trying to work some balance in to actually feel like we're getting stuff done. So we have dropped our hours back a little bit on what we're doing for the D&D stuff, and then we're going to allot time. And so things like these videos, at the moment I spend a lot of my evenings editing and uploading and things like that, and I'd really like to not be doing that as much of an evening. I'd really like some downtime of an evening rather than editing and stuff. I really need to knit myself a new one of these, because this is many, many years old now, and it is so stretched out. And I'd really like to knit another. I think I'm just going to knit the exact same pattern, because I really like it. It's called a skeleton key tam, and it's on Ravelry. But I knit it before we moved off grid, I think. So over 7 years ago. And I really want to knit myself another one. Every year I knit the kids a few more beanies, but I haven't knit myself one. But to do that, I need to get my yarn out. I need to get my yarn winder out and all those sorts of things. And I haven't been able to do any of that because we just haven't had enough time. So we've been working so hard to make money and working for other people, which is necessary. But we're not getting any of our hobby type stuff done because it's all eaten with working for money that we don't get to use how we want to use it. If that makes sense. So it's things like the website too. Again, circling back, and this is a Sunday Squirrel. I badly need to get some more recipes and stuff up on the website, because the website has the potential to make me money. Because if you guys, every time you want to look up a recipe, if you go to my website to find it, that can make me money. But to get it up on, I need the time to do it. It's all about balance. So anyway, I'm going to finish this off here. I'm going to keep cooking this chicken, which I think needs a little bit longer than I gave it. It's cooked, well and truly cooked. You know, my face in there is the problem here. Well and truly cooked, but it's not quite as crispy as it could be. But that is the chicken. So it's 4:30. The rice is done. Chicken I'm just going to keep frying off, and then broccoli, we'll do the lemon sauce. I'll take a photo of the plate if I remember. I'm really bad at remembering that. At the end, and I might leave it there. I have no idea how long this ended up being, whether it's long enough to... YouTube hates inconsistent lengths. So like my average video is 50 minutes to an hour, because that's about 2 days worth of footage of kitchen stuff. And sometimes these squirrels are only about half an hour, which is all you need to catch up on all my crap. But it means sometimes that then YouTube penalizes me a little bit, because the view length of the video still might be 50%, but it ends up only being 15 minutes instead of half an hour and things like that. Not that YouTube and algorithms and stuff, that's all just too much on top of everything else. I make money from making these videos. I enjoy making the videos. That's about the end of my, at the moment, but there is so many different things that I really need to try and focus on, and that's where the balance comes in. And this has been all over the place as usual. And I'm just, I'll see you guys on the next one.